Hi everyone, it's Tawney. Today I wanted to sit down and do a get ready with me because I have not filmed a video in quite a while. And I just felt like I needed to catch you guys up on some stuff. I wanted to talk about some things, and I also wanted to do my makeup for today because I'm going shopping with my boyfriend later on this evening. I've been feeling very down lately, and I want to give first of all, I feel like I should give a trigger warning. So anyone who would struggle watching a video talking about mental health, mental illness, body image, body weight, disordered eating, or anything of that nature, please do not watch this video. I'm literally just gonna be talking about my life, putting on makeup. You're not missing anything. So feel free to skip this video, find something different. Don't stress yourself out because I have problems. They can be my problems. That's okay. But for those of you who are able to stay or who would like to stay, I appreciate you being able to stay. I also appreciate those who can understand themselves enough to not stay, because that's definitely a big thing to know when you can and can't handle things. And I sort of just wanted to fill you guys in. I have been going through it lately. I'm not really sure. I feel like I don't quite know what the culprit is, but at the same time, I feel like I know exactly what the problem is. So I have been on my birth control since 2019, maybe 2018. So it's been 3-4 years now. And I like the way it gets rid of my period. I feel like it's just a good option for me. And I've also had very bad periods as a child and as a teenager, I guess. And I needed a solution for that. So this was the solution. And I know that it's not always the best option, but it's the best option for me. So I'm doing it. So anyway, can't talk me out of it. I've been doing it 4 years now. So clearly I don't need anybody to change my mind. I've already been doing it. I had a gyno appointment just to get my prescription renewed. I just used the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I always want to pronounce that wrong, and I know it's not that way. Going in with the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation, and I talked to my doctor about how I've been feeling kind of moody lately and just kind of down, and I'm not in a place where I feel like I'm going to hurt myself, but I feel like I'm the step down from that, where it's getting close to that hopelessness. And I'm I need something to fix this because nothing I'm doing is working. And I feel like I'm trapped in my own body, essentially. And that is such a scary feeling to experience. And I couldn't imagine having any kind of mental illness that would be more severe than just any kind of mood disorder or anxiety, depression. I don't know, it's so hard for me to imagine that. So I very much sympathize with people who have those mental illnesses, who are dealing with those and living with those every day and managing all of that, whether they are or they're not, or struggling to. I definitely understand that that's a hard thing to deal with. And I am kind of in that point with my own mental illness where I feel like I'm not able to manage it on my own. And I'm not one to immediately jump into using medication to solve a mental illness. I'm not against it as a social worker. In school, they always say you can be for it, against it. You can recommend it as a clinician, and not, you'd have to be at the clinical level, but as somebody who would be discussing medication with a client, you could always tell them I don't recommend this, but if you want to go that route, you can talk with a therapist, or you can talk with someone that's more of a doctor about options on what to do or not do about that route. You can kind of make up your own mind about how you're going to approach that. And I always knew I was going to give it up to the choice of the patient, because they know their body best. And sometimes just talking it out is not enough. Sometimes you need that extra boost to get you through it. And I feel like I'm at that point right now. And there's so many things that I feel like I'm struggling with. And I feel like they're all kind of just jumbling into one big problem. So I'm like, maybe if I'm trying to go after the little problems to then solve the big problem. Like if I get rid of the little problems, there won't be a big problem in the end. And I feel like that's kind of the best route for myself to take. It might not be for other people, but for me, I feel like it's the best option. And I have been dealing with my weight has been an issue for me, and I've been feeling very overwhelmed about my body image. I've been dealing with mood swings. I feel like there's weeks that I'm perfectly okay and I'm fine with the relationships going on in my life. I'm fine with where I'm at job wise and career wise and like body image wise. And then there's other weeks where I literally cannot stomach to even get out of bed, look in the mirror. I brush my hair and it looks like crap. And I'm like, well, I guess today I look like crap. And I just like leave feeling so defeated that like the whole day is just shot because I'm feeling so down and upset about myself. And I feel like that's been like a common thing lately. And I'm going in with the Benefit Boing Cakeless Concealer. And everything that like all of those bad feelings are just hitting me all at once, that these last couple months I've been feeling so overly emotional that like I'm like, this is not right. And I've been feeling this way for a long time. I think even before I got on birth control, I was having like wild mood swings, but I just always subjected that to like, I'm a teenager. I don't like my parents. I don't like the rules they set for me. I feel like my life's too restricting. And like, I never grew up with strict parents. They allowed me to do anything I wanted, but I didn't have a job. I didn't get my license till I was 16, and I was a senior at 16. So I didn't get my license. Like I was 16 up until December. So then December to June, May, technically graduated in May, but from December to May, I was 17 as a senior. So technically I got my license at 16 when you're supposed to, but because I started school like later year wise than everybody else, I was kind of like behind, even though like it was nice to be younger because I'm like the youngest one. I'm the second youngest person in my entire graduating class from high school. The girl that's younger than me she was born like later the day on my birthday. So that's the only thing that like separates that. But I felt like I was always like behind and just moody as a teenager. And like, I was always, arguing with my dad, always struggling to like be understood from my parents. I never had any kind of like, I had to share a bedroom with my sister because we lived in a small home. Like it looked big, but for 4 of us plus animals, it was not big at all. There was no privacy. There was nowhere for me to like escape and have my own space. I shared a bedroom. So like everything that I felt like could go wrong as a teenager, other than like traumatic experiences, was going wrong for me. So I just always said that was just what was going on, and I just had to get over it and deal with it. And once I like got older or moved out, it would be fine. Well, I moved out and it solved a lot of those problems. Like I had a better relationship with both my parents, which I'm very, very grateful for that. I have a better relationship with my sister. I have my own privacy and space, and I was able to, get relationships and friendships and allow people to come over without parents being there, and feeling like I can go out and do things without being objected to, like tell my mom, hey, I'm out here, I'll be home at this time. Like I can do whatever I want. And I wanted that kind of independence because I was 23 when I moved out. I had a full-time job at that point. I just got my full-time job right whenever I moved out. Like I got promoted at my job to full-time, and I was just like, I want that like experience of being an adult, being a grown-up, having my own thoughts and opinions, and like doing my own thing. So everything was fine. I felt like I didn't really have any problems surrounding my birth control. And then I met my ex, and then I felt like everything, like I was moody all the time, and I felt like I had a right to be moody because there was a lot of things wrong with that relationship that I felt like I was always being, I guess, gatekept, or I was, there's like other words that people use that like, I would call him out for not getting a job, not having a vehicle, for not wanting to make his own money, and like, I would get told, you're not managing your money right. You're not supporting me as a social worker. Isn't it your job to help me find a job? And it was like always my fault. And I feel like if I would have broken up with him sooner, the like big trajectory point of my life, the like most traumatic moment of my life, aside from my father dying, I feel like wouldn't have happened because I would have broken up with him sooner. But I stuck with him, and then we went through the pandemic, and then it was like, well, I can't get rid of him now. Like, he has no place to go. He he wasn't working at that time. He like was just about to start working, but he really wasn't working at that time. I was struggling with like working from home, and my mental health was really bad because of like being stuck in my bad apartment with my bad neighbors, with my ex, who wasn't really a great guy, but I just like tried to not talk about it like that. Sports was done. You couldn't go anywhere. It was like everything I liked about life was just not happening, and I wasn't allowed to let it happen. And I was struggling with that. So it was like normal, like it was acute stress because it was just temporary. Little did we know how temporary, I thought it was like going to go on forever. I'm like, life's never going to go back to normal. It's just going to be terrible for us for our lives, and we're just going to have to deal with it. But then it's slowly getting back to normal. I mean, it's been taking a while, and I still don't think it's like 100% back, but like we're getting there. My nose is like acting funny. I use the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop powder. It's like my favorite powder, but there's something, I think my nose just didn't get blended right. And I'm also dealing with some like texture on my face right now, so I kind of figured that sometimes like some of my makeup just wasn't going to blend properly, and I was just gonna have to get over it today. It's not looking bad, it's just like my face texture is like kind of because I've been too depressed to go do my skincare and stuff and like take care of my body the way I'm supposed to, like on a daily basis. And because I've been seeing doctors, so it's not like I'm not really taking care of myself. But I went through that bad breakup, and everything was just like heightened. And they say that when you go through your first breakup of your first relationship, it hits you hard. And I had no idea how much it would affect me. I went from having somebody live with me, having somebody to talk to about everything, from having somebody to be my support system, even though he wasn't exactly the best support system. I went from having that person with me, from like we were talking about buying a house, which thank goodness we didn't. I was, dealing with a lot of like stressors because of my neighbors at my apartment complex, that like he was the person that understood that because he lived there with me, that I was able to connect with him, that I feel like I couldn't with anybody else. And I like took that breakup so hard. I mean, there's plenty of videos here on Facebook of me just breaking down because like I literally can't function as a human being because I'm so traumatized by what just happened to me. And like, I always thought that when like people broke up with boyfriends and got like really depressed, it was stupid. It's like, get over it. It's a guy. You're better off without him. And I was very better off without this guy. But in my brain, I was like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't know how to function. Like, I don't know how to like move on from this and like have this be a good thing that we broke up, even though it was a very good thing. And like, I really struggled with that. And I had reached out to a therapist at that time, and she couldn't prescribe medication. And I'm not quite sure how I had looked up her, how I had found her, I wanted someone who could prescribe medication because I felt so down and depressed that was the only thing that was going to pick me back up was medication. I was like, I cannot get over this mountain, so I need a little push and a little nudge from something that was going to be able to get me through that. And because this the therapist could not prescribe medication, I feel like it just put everything at a screeching halt, and it was just like, this isn't going to work. So I worked with her for about a month, and I was just like, I don't think this is going to do anything better. Like, we just kind of lost touch. It was weird as like a therapist relationship. We got along really well. She was very understanding, but she was just one of those therapists that would like listen to your problems. And I know that that's what they do because I'm a social worker. That's what I do. But I didn't feel like I was getting the extra support I needed to move on from it. It was a nice chance to talk with her, but it really wasn't doing anything to like help me get through it. It was just like a temporary thing for an hour every time we would talk every other week. And I just like needed more than that. So I kind of just dropped off from her. The ex and I broke up, and I got better. I got fine. And I started talking to like I would make friends and guys. Like I tried dating on, social media and like dating apps and stuff. And that's where I had met my ex. And my coworkers had used those apps, so I was like, I'm going to use these apps. And like, I met a guy who was very religious, but like at the time, that was what I was leaning into. So we talked for a while, and he kind of helped me through it. I met a guy who we had a lot in common hobby-wise, but not so much life goal-wise. So he was a nice, like, temporary thing, but just nothing that was, like, going to help me get over everything. And then I met my current boyfriend, and I don't want to say that, like, he solved all the problems, but I definitely feel like I'm, like, definitely improving as a person more so than I ever had prior to meeting him. Like, I feel like I'm now in the best place of my life that I've never been. And and I don't know if it's just, it happened while we were dating or if he's the cause of it, but like, it's still nice to think that like, he's helped me through it. And he's a very good like support to have. And I feel like I'm really grateful to like have met him and stuff and like to have him in my life. And I still have issues that I can't get. And like, I thought everything would be fine. Like, I don't know why I thought a man would fix everything. And I am now at the point in my life, because I teach for young moms and, you know, women in general. I work from like grandparents raising grandchildren or any kind of like relative to teenagers who just found out they're pregnant and they're like freshmen in high school. Like, I go from like a range of like different types of women and children. And I am a big advocate for get your life together, then go get a man. Get a man who has his life together so you can bring things to the table, but you don't rely on his things to keep you going. Because my ex relied on me for transportation, for money, for a place to live, for food, for any kind of like emotional support. Like, he had family that was supportive, but they weren't the type that he could rely on and lean on to help him in his life. Whereas my parents would like bend over backwards to like breathe for me. Like, they're those, like, my family has always been that way of like, we take care of you, like, this is our job. And like, my dad was saying that till he died, that like, it's our job to take care of our children because they're our children. And I like sort of adopted that to anybody that's like in my life, that I want to help take care of them. So I feel like I was just like, I have to take care of this boyfriend. And like, it was less so much about my feelings and what was going on with me and more about you have to help them. So that kind of just like, it really put into perspective thinking back later on, you know, all these years later after all of that's been said and done and we're not together anymore. And I feel like I am now realizing that, you know, they're not going to fix your problems. Nobody is going to resolve things for you or make your life whole. I mean, love could be the missing thing in your life. Sure, that's fine, because that's how it's supposed to be in a relationship. It's just that you want that loving partner that's going to provide you that like comfort and all of, they can be like a support system on a different level than like friends and family can be. That's understandable. But when they become like your entire rock and your entire foundation as a human being, it's not healthy anymore, because then it's like, it's pushing them down, weighing them down to be a person that they were never meant to be. And it's also making you reliant on a person who might not be the best option for you. And like, if you want relationship help, I'll be your girl. I have experience in bad relationships. Have not quite gotten to like 100% rest of my life relationship. My boyfriend and I aren't even engaged yet. Who's to say we will or won't be? I don't know. That's, you know, we haven't talked about that yet. But like, I can at least help you with the don'ts part. But I am like working on that independence and like just solely focusing on myself as a person. And I've, you know, been in the process the last couple weeks of like really trying to like better myself and like improve on myself and everything. And I've been making doctor's appointments and like just trying to get my health in check. And like, I've been having severe issues with my body image. So I've been wanting to see a doctor to try and like see if I can meet with a dietitian to talk about a plan on like how to eat healthier. And like, I know how to eat healthier, but I think I eat too much. And I think that's my problem. I am in the worst, I feel like worst stage of my life health-wise than I've ever been in my life. And I'm working on trying to improve that. But I feel like the worst part is that right now it's November and I'm getting to the point where I won't be able to go outside to walk because it's going to be like 20 degrees. So I need like healthy ways to manage that during the winter months when you can't really exercise more than being indoors. Because like summer is a great chance to do this, and I tried it, but I just didn't get out as much. Like the stuff I was like doing wasn't stuff where I'd be active. Like I was going yard selling and stuff, but it wasn't things where I was like walking around the whole neighborhood. Like it was like areas where I had to drive because it was literally like mile hikes, and like we're not mile hike people. Like I'm not a walker. I'd like to be a walker, but I'm not a walker. And I feel like that's kind of where it really like, that's where I struggle. So like maybe if I control it with food, but I feel like that's the best place for me to start is like working on controlling my appetite and what I eat and like cutting back on certain things and just like being healthier. So I'm like, maybe if I can meet with a PCP who will then direct me to a dietitian, I can work on like a healthy way to manage my weight and weight loss without like obsessively dieting, because I feel like that's literally the only option, because I don't know anything else because of like the diet culture from like the early 2000s, because that's like what I grew up with. Even though my mom was not a dieter growing up, like we were never in that stage, like we were never those people, but it was just so heavily ingrained in like pop culture that it's like hard to not know is a thing, basically. And I forgot to prime my eyes. I at least put concealer and foundation on my eyes, but that's not going to do well for me later on. I've been talking and I forgot to put primer on my eyes. Well, it's too late now. I'm not wiping it off. It's still applying fine, but it's not going to hold on like it usually does. Man, can you tell I have not put makeup on in a hot minute? At least I put the primer on my, like, under my foundation. I've done that before, and like I can tell my makeup doesn't sit well because I have oily combination skin. Anymore, it's leaning sort of, it's like T-zone oily, and then everywhere else kind of dry, but not like overly dry that I have dry skin. Like I would never say I have dry skin. I more have oily because I like definitely get the oils to come out, but like it's not as oily as I used to be. So maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Sometimes it's easier to manage oily skin than dry skin. Other times it's easier to manage dry skin than oily skin. So it just kind of, I guess, depends on your skincare routine. But I am hoping that with meeting up with a dietitian and a PCP, I'll be able to get that better in check. And I had like sort of talked with my gynecologist the other day about, you know, looking into medication because of my birth control causing like mood swings. So I'm going to talk to my PCP at my next appointment about like therapists that she could recommend that would prescribe medication, because I'm thinking that that's the route I need to take to help fix this, because I've tried to rationalize everything from like an outside point of view, from my inner, this is my life point of view. And I feel like I just can't get to that point. And I'm like really struggling with like sort of intrusive thoughts. They're dark thoughts, but like not to the point of hurting myself or anybody else. Like I'm like almost there, but not like, I would never actively act on it, but I feel like it's like borderline below that. And I've been seeing so much stuff online about borderline personality disorder, and I don't want to be one of those people that like, oh, here's a disorder, I'm going to latch onto it and make it my personality. Like I'm not going to, like, I don't want to say that that's what I'm doing, because it's not. But I've seen so many like reels on Instagram about girls explaining like this like section of the BPD in their lives, and like how they are, like how, what happens in that period, and like whatever it is that they're doing, like they're having these thoughts and this is what's happening inside their head. And I'm like, that's what's happening inside my head. Like I feel like this is me, and I don't want to like self-diagnose myself. So that's why I want to see a therapist who can like say, yeah, you do have BPD. Let's get you on some medication to solve this. So I feel like that's going to be the best option, because I've been like severely moody over the last couple years, ever since I started taking birth control, and I don't want to get off of it. I don't know if I've said this in this video yet. I've been talking so much today about this that I don't like, I tried filming this video like 3 times just with me talking, and then I was like, let's just do makeup. So I'm distracted while I talk about this. But I feel like the best way to handle the mood swings caused by this birth control is to get on medication that can combat that, but while still allowing me to like be on birth control, because I'm not ready to get off of it. But I feel like I need some sort of help to like help what's going on in my head, because I'm really struggling. And like I don't know what to say now. Like, I totally sympathize with people who have been dealing with this longer than I have, and people who, like, don't have a cause. It just happens. Because sometimes mental illnesses just show up, and you just are stuck dealing with them for the rest of your life. And, like, there's no rhyme or reason as to why. It just, like some of them, like schizophrenia, comes up in, like, your late teens, and it just shows up one day. Like, all of a sudden, there's these things going on in your head, and you're like, this isn't normal. Like, where did this come from? And nothing traumatizing has ever happened for them to be caused. Just you turn 19 and boom, there's an extra voice up there. Like, it just, that's just how things work like that. It's weird. Like, I can't get like, I don't understand how this is actually going on. I guess it's just like the hardwiring in your brain is changing. But like, maybe I just haven't looked into it, because it's more psychology than social work. So I haven't had a need to look up any of that. It's fascinating though, I have to say. But I definitely sympathize with people who are managing it or struggling with it or have been dealing with it for a long time. Like, it's definitely rough. And I am a big advocate for like ending the stigma around mental illness. That was my big senior project when I was in my associate's level program, was ending the stigma around mental illness, understanding that it's a problem that people are dealing with, but they're not a problem, that they're a person living with a mental illness, not a person with, or I forget what you're either a person living with it or you're a person with it, but it doesn't define you. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know how to explain it. But I'm a big, push for like, it happens, don't make it a big deal. Like, if you're not the person with it, don't make it a big deal. Like, it's just, they're just going through it. And that's just, so I don't feel any shame in reaching out for help. I don't feel any shame getting on any kind of medication. I don't feel any shame needing to talk to a therapist as a therapist, because it happens. I definitely encourage you all to reach out and seek help if you need it. The suicide hotline number is now 988, and you can text that. So if you don't feel like calling someone and talking voice to voice, you can text that number and say, hey, I need help. Can you help me? And they'll help find resources for you either within your area, or there'll be that voice to talk to you in that moment of stress that you're dealing with. Definitely no shame in reaching out. So reach out if you need to. I just went in with the Morphe Madison Beer palette. This is the Channel Surfing Artistry palette. I have to say, I don't promote Morphe on my channel. I stopped doing that for a very long time now. This palette is one of my favorite palettes of all time. I'm very ashamed to say that about a Morphe palette, but I cannot get over how pretty the palette is. Like, look at my eyes. Look at this color right here. Oh my gosh. It's like a sparkly glitter. So pretty. So pretty. I just ordered 2 new palettes I'm super excited about. I found them on Dupe That on Instagram, so if you want to go check her out, she also gives out coupon codes. If she promotes anything, she'll get like a 10% discount. So you can go and use that. And I believe it like supports her, like she gets money from it, but it saves you 10%. So like, you know what I mean? It's worth it, honestly, in my opinion. And she's never been problematic. I don't know exactly who she is. I just know she's a girl, but she's definitely like a great influencer to follow if you're interested in a dupe channel and stuff. And like, she talks about a lot of like throwback matte collections. So that's definitely interesting, because it's stuff I didn't even know came out. Because it's like before my time on YouTube, honestly, as like a viewer. I just started filming in 2020. But I honestly forget what both, they're very obscure, they're very obscure makeup collection names. One of them is a beauty creations palette. It's like their winter Christmas holiday palette. It was very pretty, has like some very pretty shimmers in it. I'm super excited about it. And then another one was like Babel or something like that. And it is like their Christmas collection. Very nude, like nude colors and stuff, but also with like some nice silver and gold sparkles in them. And just like very up my alley palettes that I'm like super excited to get them and try them out. And I haven't bought a new palette in such a long time that I was like, I'm due for a new palette. Like, the last one I bought was the Michaela and Glam Light Part 2 palette. And even that, like, it was old when I got it. I picked it up at CVS a couple weeks ago. I'm still like super excited that I got that palette at such a good deal, because like, it was just a random, hey, we have it here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have coupons. Let's buy it. Like, it's just right place and right time. Let's see. I think I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Shake and Glow Dew Mist. I just went in with the Essence mascara. I can think of the name any other time, but not right now. It's the green one that everybody uses. It's $4 at Ulta. Gotta get that daily water intake. I drink less water when I'm home and on the weekends because I usually have like tea or Kool-Aid or lemonade or something made. Or alcohol. I like to drink a couple like wine coolers every now and then. But when I'm at work, I only drink water. So I'm like, on the weekends and at night, I need to start drinking more water so that I'm still getting my daily water intake when I'm not at work. I got dots on my forehead. Need to blend that out a little bit. If you have any good setting spray recommendations, I am in the market for a new one. So definitely send them my way. I have too many, but I'm in the mood for another one. So give me ideas anyway. Let's see. I just picked up some new, okay, I think this is a good one. I just picked up a bunch of new lip products, which coming from me is wild because I don't like lip products. I was the type of person, I oftentimes forgot to wear lip products because they were an afterthought. They're the last part of my makeup process. Like, I have more important things to do, like my eyes, than my lips. So it just never, was never doing it for me. Like, I always had really chapped lips. They were just, not great for putting on lipsticks. I could never find a good, long-lasting, non-transfer lipstick or lip product. And then Maybelline came out with their Superstay liquid lipsticks, and then I was like, I'm a new woman now. So now I'm obsessed with lip products. I can't get this thing off, but we're going to get there while I'm chatting. So I bought a bunch of new lip liners, lipsticks, and lip crayons over the past week from Ulta and I believe Walmart, because they're CVS and we have a Walgreens. Yeah, we have a Walgreens 25 minutes away. Those are the places to shop for makeup. We don't really have anything else. And if I want anything else, I have to go out of town. We just got an Ulta a couple years ago, but it went in our mall, and our mall is failing. So we might not have an Ulta for too long, depending on how the mall does. And the mall, I think, recently filed for bankruptcy and was sold, but it's still open. So we still have a mall. I think everybody in my area is just holding on to hope that the mall's just never going to close. We're just pushing it under the rug and hoping it doesn't happen. Why are lip liners so hard to open? Can somebody explain this to me? Okay. Why don't they have a little tab? You pull the tab and the whole thing comes off. Why does it have to be so difficult? And usually the part that's on the cap, I can never get off, and I just end up leaving on because I'm so frustrated. Does anybody else feel that way? It's not working. Haha. I got it. So this is the NYX Lying Loud lip pencil in Born to Hustle, and it looks like this. So it's a very nice, burnt orange, sort of red leaning lipstick, and I'm very excited to try all of these new ones out that I got. I got a lot of nice fall colors. I literally spoke right as I went to put that down, so then I ended up giving myself an extra large line on my Cupid's bow. And I did not mean to do that, but I did. I legit think I just overlined my lips on accident, and I didn't mean to. I think I just did, because look at this. I don't do this normally, but it was from that mistake, and it just happened, so I guess. So now moving on, I got the Milani lipstick in Pleasure. It's those new fancy lipsticks that have been all over TikTok and YouTube. Jessica Braun bought one, and she was like, I'm so obsessed, and I was like, okay, I have to get them now. Because, not that her opinion is going to make me buy stuff, but sometimes it does. And she's, the best at drugstore. Now, she's good at high-end, but I don't buy high-end, so she doesn't influence me there. But drugstore stuff, she always gets me on. So I was like, I'm going to try this out. And this is, the perfect nude shade. So I'm excited to see how this looks on my lips. Okay, I have to say, to review these two products, lip liner, very cute color. That's a very interesting, it's a nice bright color without being like overly bright. It's very drying, but not in a bad way, because I know it's going to settle down and look really nice. They're very matte, and I don't know if they're meant to be matte, but they're giving me matte vibes. I hate this little dumb thing I did up here, so ignore that, but it makes my upper lip look like a little bit plumpier than normal, so that's good. The colors look really nice. They don't exactly, oh, okay, and I dropped it. That's nice. Okay, let's, all right, they don't exactly go great together, but you can't really tell. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I like it. It's definitely mattifying a lot. Like I can tell it's, I would need a gloss over this if I wanted it to be glossy, but I don't care. I don't care that much. It definitely makes my lips look really poppy. So that's exciting. So yeah, there is my fancy new jumbo t-shirt that I got. This is the finished look. Very exciting. I will keep you guys updated on what's going on with my mental health and how I progress, how all of that goes whenever I find a therapist and all that jazz. And if you have any stories to tell me regarding your mental health or anytime you've reached out for help, let me know in the comment section down below. It's nice to know that we're not alone. Nice to know there's other people out there who have been through what we've been through, what we're going through. And just to know that like there's a way around it, through it, past it, you know. We're going on a bear hunt for our mental health. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section down below of this makeup look. If you have any new items you'd like me to try out, anything you want me to talk about in a video. I'm very open about talking about different topics, just as long as I like have the experience to talk about them, because I'd hate to talk about something I know nothing about and then I'm just like struggling to make it through it. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload our next video. Stay tuned for that one, guys, and I will see you then. Bye.